Two. Hey, good morning. It is Friday, July 22nd, at a busy primary period for the Florida elections. So another funny week, another crazy week, basically, with politics here in Florida and throughout the United States. This week, we actually have an amazing candidate for State Attorney General who's joining us, Daniel. And I'm going to pull him in right now. There we go.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So normally what I tell people is we like to invite all guests up to the show to make sure that we give everybody a chance to pretty much say what they got to do, what they're trying to do to help the people of Florida. So I thank you for joining me, Daniel. It's really been a pleasure. I just got to meet Daniel the other weekend at Leadership Blue, which funny enough seems like it turned out to be a bit of a spreader event. We got a bunch of people that went out.
I know. I know. So, it seems like,
Yeah, I mean, luckily I could say that I didn't really feel anything, but I know like Rebecca Jones came down, Val Demings. I just keep hearing a bunch of people that went down with it. I know I had a few meetings that were scheduled this week that had to be canceled because of that, because they were all affected. So it is what it is. So
it is what it is. That's right. It's an ongoing pandemic. What do we want to call it at this point? I don't know. What do you want to call it?
Yeah, is it even a pandemic at this point? It's just an ongoing.
I just kind of normal. I guess we're just. Everyone's getting sick.
It's the new norm, I guess you could say. Right. But funny enough, actually, my daughters and my wife are actually up in St. Louis, and they got it too. So they're actually and they're hanging out at grandma and grandpa's house, not allowed to go out or do anything. So it kind of ruined their vacation a bit. But it is what it is, right? The new norm. So, Daniel, you want to give everybody a quick 2 minutes of what what it is you're trying to do here?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm Daniel Uhlfelder. I'm running for Florida Attorney General. I'm a lifelong Floridian, second generation Floridian. I was born in Miami, grew up in Tallahassee, been up here in Northwest Florida practicing law for 20 plus years. I'm not a career politician. The last time I ran for office was actually in high school, but I was raised around great political figures like Lawton Childs and Bob Graham and Leroy Collins and folks like that who kind of instilled in me the importance of public service. And, my family, my grandfather escaped Nazi Germany in 1934 and came to this country into South Florida and West Palm Beach and instilled in my family, a real purpose and, standing up to autocracy and bigotry and hatred. And so that's been part of my DNA kind of my whole life. And the last few years, I've had some battles with like Mike Huckabee, who's tried to privatize our beaches. I've fought to take down Confederate flags in Northwest Florida. And then 2 years ago, some people may remember me traveling the state as the Grim Reaper when I challenged Governor DeSantis's policies on COVID. And last year, I started a PAC called Remove Ron, which with the sole purpose was to get him out of office. And it was so successful that I, grew and grew and grew. And I kind of said, well, what can I do? At this point, my activism may have just kind of topped out. So I said, well, we have to replace these folks. So I chose to run against Ashley Moody, and campaign's going great. And I'm really excited about where we are. And we just got to win this primary so I can get her out in November.
So that's awesome. And you're the first candidate right now to have gotten to the matching funds portion of things, which is awesome.
Yes.
And just in case people don't know, the matching funds is something that the state of Florida offers cabinet members that are running for the position of cabinet. Basically, what they do is that they match your donation. So that's something that I'm working towards right now. Daniel is actually able to achieve, but he still can keep going and actually getting some more money.
Yeah, the matching fund. A lot of people, when you're cabinet race, you can, if you have to fill out a form, which I'm sure you did, and I did. Yep. I was actually the only attorney general in the primary who actually signed the form. It's not, you don't have to actually fill it out. You just have to sign your name. Right. So my two Democratic opponents, they didn't even fill out the form. So
I didn't even look to see if my opponents filled it out. I should take a look.
You should check. Because it's really, I was shocked. I'm like, well, this is, these two folks are running for attorney general. You think they know the law, but I guess not. So not that they've raised any money whatsoever, but they, even if they do get to that threshold, they are giving up basically state money. So it's pretty shocking that. But yeah, so that it's you learn a lot in this campaign, and you really, I think we need to elect people who actually know what they're doing, and they're doing things to help themselves and help the party. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So.
Yeah, sadly, this is all politics and it's all a money game. We know that.
But matching funds, yeah. So I reached that threshold, and I'm, in about a week, I'm going to get about over a significant amount of money that I can use towards the campaign, and so yeah, I'm really excited about that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get all that done soon because I got some money finally coming through. My PAC and everything is basically helping out and doing what we need to do to get where we want to be. Because right now, things are happening and some things are not working the way that we'd like them to work out. So yeah, we're seeing some endorsements that we're like, we didn't even get called. Like, what's going on here? But yeah, that's politics for you.
Yeah, it's you just got to keep rolling. You got to keep fighting, and every day wake up and I think this political thing. It's really somebody told me, I'm not a career politician, obviously I haven't run, but some people that have told me to just be yourself. Be who you are, and because it really, people want to know who you are, and how authentic you are, but yeah, and also it's you got to raise money to get your message out, so it's a combination.
Yeah, it's not an easy fight, especially when you're doing everything grassroots and not really focusing on these big corporate dollars. I know I haven't taken money from any of the big corporations or anything like that.
Me neither. Yeah, me neither.
Definitely not big ag, big sugar, or anything like that, which is bad for Florida. So, so Daniel, what are your thoughts on the? Yesterday was a long day for me, so I was driving all over the place, but I didn't really get to watch too much of the January 6th hearing. But I keep hearing everybody talking about it, and just wanted to get your take on that because, my gosh, all I've been seeing is Josh Hawley running.
Yeah. Which is kind of Josh Hawley. I went to Stanford undergrad, and he was a few years after me, but he did as well. And kind of a little history with me and him. Last year, around shortly after January 6th, there was a fundraiser he had scheduled at Lowe's, like a couple weeks after the January 6th event, and I saw the post, and I posted that his fundraiser, and I said that should be canceled because we shouldn't have. It was in Orlando, and I said we don't want this insurrectionist fundraising money in our state, and they actually canceled it. They canceled the fundraiser, and
I remember,
and that was that was the power of activism. And I have 250,000 Twitter followers, and I just posted that, and it did result in a lot of harassment. I think actually I had so many threats from people about that I did have to call law enforcement, unfortunately, because they get pretty upset when you criticize their people. But yeah, so Josh Hawley, I've been calling him a traitor for a long time, and now I guess I should call him a sprinter too. I guess he's I said, I posted on, there was I posted something last night on Twitter. I said, I guess, is Josh Hawley still planning to run for president? I don't know if he's still doing that. It is, you have to have a sense of humor, but it really is serious stuff, because this guy went out and instigated this. He went out there with his fist, hey, let's do. He was out there inciting an insurrection.
Yeah.
And this guy is a highly educated attorney, was actually a former attorney general in Missouri. And then we see him running like a coward from the folks that he brought to this. And it's really, and there were Capitol policemen that were injured and killed at this. And it's so, and I just think about, what if, I'm not a big Mike Pence fan, clearly, but what if Mike Pence had not done the right thing?
Yep, exactly. What then,
we would still be under an illegal, Donald Trump, people are, I've never been surprised by what he would do, but people are saying, I can't believe he didn't stop them. Really? He would have, he was not going to be satisfied until anything was done. And hanging Mike Pence was not enough. He would have bat an eye. So it is, And so, January 6th last year, there's certain dates that have been marked in our consciousness. In my campaign for Attorney General, a month before that, in December of 2020, Ashley Moody signed onto a brief to challenge the election. At that point, in my mind, and a lot of lawyers who are supporting me, who actually used to support her, agree that was an act of betrayal to the law of our country.
You're good. It's just your thing.
What is that?
It's your handles and your information.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I grew up. My dad's an attorney. I grew up around the law. I mean, the law is supposed to be sacred in this country, and
it is. And right now, it seems like these guys just wipe their butt with it, and meanwhile, the rest of us have to live under the law, and we get punished like no other. But they do anything and everything, and meanwhile, they're like, "Oh no, we're good next."
Like, no, yeah. I mean, the law is supposed to apply equally. It shouldn't be, if you're white, rich, male, you shouldn't get a pass. Or if you're any. I mean, it's so based on wealth or access to power or race or gender. It really is, and that's why I'm doing this. I mean, because I'm not a person. You see a lot of people run for office who are kind of like, I'm gonna run for this, I'm gonna run for that. It's kind of like like Ashley Moody. She's running for Attorney General. She's running for governor. I mean, I did not want to be in the political realm. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to, but I have an obligation to my family, to my friends, to my fellow citizens, to 7-year-old daughter, and she is. My wife, and they get so mad when I say she's perfect. I mean, she's perfect in my eyes. I don't want her to grow up in a country where she's a second-class citizen.
Yeah, well, that's an issue.
This is what's happening in August 23rd in our state. We got to elect people who can win, and I can win. I can beat Ashley Moody. I'm running against two folks that are good lawyers, and I've got to know them. I like them personally, but there's things that unfortunately that they don't have that I do that make them, not really as electable, and that's why I'm doing this.
Got it. Yeah, it's crazy dealing with some of the opposition stuff and all that. I know lately.
I respect anybody that runs for. I mean, I think anyone that puts their neck out, and does this is sacrificing a lot. But the Democratic Party in Florida needs to win. We need to have some wins.
Correct. We do.
There's no. I mean, the consequences of losing are too
high,
consequential to have it. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm out there busting my ass, calling people all day, raising money. Yesterday, I joined a lawsuit that is challenging the abortion law. I just joined as co-counsel with a synagogue in South Florida to help challenge this on, not just constitutional grounds, but also some religious grounds. I'm going, we were in, it's a big state, I know. I can get my message out. So people need to go to danielforag.com and learn about me and chip in, donate. It's not fun having to raise money, but it's necessary to get our message out, because I'm not, a household name. We aren't household names like Ron DeSantis or, Rick Scott or, but we need to be known. We need
people to pay attention, basically, because if they're not paying attention to the candidates that they're choosing for, and they're just going based on like what somebody said to them or whatever, then you're doing it wrong.
The voting is critical, but informed voting. I mean, everyone should vote. Everyone should vote. There's no doubt we should make voting as accessible as possible, but there's so much information. What I'm doing, I'm talking about challenging Florida Power and Light for the utilities, challenging these homeowner insurance rates, challenging these rental escalations, fighting for reproductive rights. These are big things that Attorney General can do, and I'm going to do them from day one.
And that's exactly what we need. Kind of like my thing on day one, we need to make sure that we stop the sugar burn and start cleaning the place up. For me, it's basically about, if you don't elect me, this place is going to fall apart, and you're never going to be able to recover it, because the people that you're trying to elect over me are basically going to sell this place out for the highest bidder and just not care. And I care, my children's future depends on this place being good. And to me, it's sad because I remember, Florida in the 80s and 90s when I was a child, remembering these things, like how beautiful it was.
Yeah.
It's not that anymore. And, I know overdevelopment is one thing, but the fact that we're just not taking care of the land and taking care of the planet is really just detrimental to the place and really hurting us, because at the end of the day, if our ecology falls apart in the state of Florida, our tourism falls apart in the state of Florida. And that is our biggest economic driver here. If you lose the number one thing that makes the state money, then what do you have left? Everything else will start falling apart at the seams too. Those other industries are not going to be able to sustain if there's no tourism. Because, even though agriculture is the second largest economic driver in the state of Florida, if those hotels aren't hosting people or having people over, then that food that's being grown is going to go nowhere. It's not going to go to the hotels or the restaurants or the places where the tourists are having their dinner and all that. So, trickle down effect, domino effect, basically, one thing falls, the rest of them fall. So people need to pay attention. Every single one of these positions are important. This is one of the few years that we could actually do a clean sweep of the cabinet and the governor, if we do the right thing. Now, it might be difficult on the Senate and legislative level at the current moment because of the gerrymandering, but if we could do a full sweep up top, then it's a completely different ball game and we could start doing things. But right now, this sucks. Really, it does. I hate the fact that Nikki has her hands tied and can't do much. I hate the fact that we have a bully in office. I hate the fact that we have basically a patsy running this show as the attorney general. And I mean, it's just basically being run by a crime syndicate at this point, because these people have figured out how to rob the piggy bank directly. And that's all they're doing. It's become a huge grift. And these people need to be out of our system. And we need to put laws in place that basically protect our government from this grift. It should not be allowed. Like this whole dismantling of our school system, the privatization of everything, and basically it's all crony contracts that are being sent out to a lot of these folks. There's no reason why we should be paying $90 million for a website. That makes no sense to me. But we've done it not just once, but multiple times with the company who's already shown that they're incompetent to even do this job right. So I don't understand what we do and how we do, but I swear these contracts need to all be reviewed, and we need to check out, see what's going on. So as the attorney general, how can we help and do stuff like that to track down and really just see where all this money's going? Because to me, it just seems like it's going in one hand and going back into the pocket of some of these politicians.
I clearly am not, I probably one of the harshest, I mean, there's a lot of harsh critics of Donald Trump, and I do not like him at all, but when he ran as president, you remember him saying he's going to drain the swamp, clearly.
He clearly filled it up.
He did. Well, some of you may know me as the Grim Reaper of Florida. So I plan to reap the swamp in Tallahassee, because you're right. It is. If you look, it's basically it's hard. So when you go to a hotel or anything, you got this, the circular. I don't know what you call it when you go in, and it's like the.
Oh my God, I forgot that
but basically you got to exchange. It's basically the line between government and corporate America and lobby. There is no distinction anymore.
No.
You look at all you have to do. And fortunately, Florida, we still have public access to campaign contributions. If you look at like my opponent, Ashley Moody. I have 4,000 donations from human beings, from people, like averaging $50 a person. These are most of them I know. I mean, I know they're friends, family. They're just people that believe in democracy. But she's got a few hundred, but she gets money from Florida Power and Light, Duke Energy, tobacco, insurance. The Seminole Tribe just a week ago gave her political committee $50,000.
Really?
I mean, what is the Seminole Tribe? What do they need? Why are they giving $50,000 to the sitting attorney general? Why is Florida Power and Light just stroking checks for $25,000? Because they want something, and they want protection. They're basically buying protection. And you're right. The government of Florida has become so corrupt. Whether you're talking about contracts or websites for for private prisons or
the COVID, the
yes.
monocolonial treatment. I mean, come on, that was such an obvious thing, especially when you see money being poured into his account by the people who he just gave the contract to. Like, come on.
What we have to do, if people knew if all of Florida knew that who was subsidizing these campaigns. I mean, Ron DeSantis has 120. There's like billion. These are people that have come to Florida, and they're developers and they're hedge fund guys, and they're just crook. I mean, not crook, but they don't care about whether your rent is going up. They don't care if your utilities are going up. They don't care if your homeowner's insurance is going up.
No.
But the problem is that we have to raise money to combat that. And I'm not like you. I'm not getting money from corporate. I'm not getting PAC money. I'm not getting insurance. I'm getting money from, folks all over this country who are giving me $5 a week or $10 a week or because they want change. And until we get our government working for us and with us instead of against us and for just their donors, we're not going to fix this system. So, I mean, Donald Trump, he's a con man, he's a crook. But when he said drain the swamp, I mean, it is Tallahassee is a swamp itself. It's run by lobbyists, it's run by donors, it's run by this political class of folks that don't care if your rent goes up. They don't care if your homeowner insurance is going up. They're going to be able to afford it. They don't care if your utilities are going up. And when I'm Attorney General, my clients are going to be the 22 million Floridians. And I'm not going to take money from entities like Florida Power and Light or tobacco or insurance that I'm regulating. I mean, I have a lot of folks that are supporting me. One man named is Bob Butterworth, who was a Attorney General for Florida for served 3 terms, and he took on big tobacco. I mean, he recovered millions and millions of dollars to cover health costs that the state was incurring because of tobacco. That took courage, and he did that before really any other Attorney General did. You're not going to see Ashley Moody or Pam Bondi do anything like that. I mean, we have a homeowner insurance crisis in this state. We have a utility crisis in the state. We have a rental crisis in the state.
Sorry about that.
And I'm going to work on all those things because it's what as Attorney General, I'm a public servant. I get paid by the people in Florida. I don't get paid by Florida Power and Light. I mean, they may get her elected, but you're hitting on it exactly right. And if we can get our message out where people can realize that who's really running the state. I live in Walton County here. We have some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. We also have dune lakes, some of the more dune lakes than anywhere in the world, except for certain parts of Africa, where these lakes are freshwater lakes that feed into the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, they're beautiful. Bob Graham, who was our governor, who was a mentor of mine, he got Grayton Beach Park to become a state park. Our state parks, you're right. If we pave over Florida, like I see happening all with just strip malls and we are going to destroy it and we're going to make it less attractive. And we don't have any foresight in this state. We need people like, what is the big picture here? Florida, we don't have any real
visionaries,
thinkers. And I'm a big picture thinker. That's who I am. I'm a history major. I love Florida. I mean, my wife, she doesn't do many videos for me because she's, she just, she said it. She's, I don't know anybody, and she's probably true, that loves Florida much as Daniel. I mean, I do. I grew up in Florida and I went to California for college at Stanford, and I had my Gator flags up. I mean, I love Florida. I mean, we could live a lot of places, but, I think Florida has so much to offer, and it is, you're right. It is being, damaged in ways that I hope we can fix.
I mean, it's just not being run the way it should. And, I can't, how do I say this? But how do you correct the ship that's completely run afoul? Like it has to be done at the core, and
Exactly.
it starts with leadership, the head of the snake, and you get these people out. DeSantis is really just he pretends to be doing the right thing for a lot of people, and he throws that propaganda out like I'm giving these people checks and all these things,
Right.
but you're basically giving people that was their money anyway. Like
Right.
give them their money, bro. Like what are you
Right.
doing?
Right. Yeah.
You're dangling it around like, oh look, I got carrots for you. No, give them their money. And as a matter of fact, you
Right.
owe them more than that. Like these
Right.
people need a raise. These people have not gotten a raise. These people haven't done anything, and it just it's sad. It really is
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
feel this whole state can be run so much better. I know me as the ag commissioner, people are like, well, how do you know how to do all these things? And I'm like, look, I've run businesses before.
Right. Me
I've
too.
managed employees. I've managed multiple stores. I've done all these things. I know how it is. You got to run 24 different departments in the agriculture in the Florida Ag Commissioner's position. So to me, it's just running different departments, making sure you're
Right.
getting the
Exactly.
right experts to work at these things and working properly. But I don't understand this constant using of different companies to come
Well, look
in.
at this. Look who's running our state right now. Okay, Ron DeSantis is the governor. I mean, he's an attorney. He's never. I've run a business for 25 years. I mean, I have made a payroll. Hey, I've run several businesses. I mean, has he ever run a business? He's ever been accountable? No, he's been a career politician. Ashley Moody, has she ever run a business? Has she ever been accountable? She's been paid by the government. I mean, there's nothing wrong with. But
Strawberry
Ashley
Queen.
Moody, Ron DeSantis, both of them, I would have the majority of their employment checks for their adult life have come from the taxpayers. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I don't get if I don't do my work, if I don't bust my ass and for my clients or for my and maintain I don't get paid. There's no guarantee I get paid. And it's you create when you have your own business, it creates accountability. Accountability to yourself, to your customers, to your brand, to your reputation. And yeah, I mean, I think you're right about that. I think there's the government class, the political class does not have any real life experience in terms of what it takes to
Well, they
what
don't understand the little person. They don't
no, they
understand.
don't. They don't understand.
And
Like
I mean,
like
I've been there. I've been, check to check, been sick and having to deal with
right,
not getting paid because I worked in hospitality. That I've worked in an industry where we've had no life support for these people. When you work in the
right,
hospitality industry for a long time, because my family owned restaurants and I've worked in. To me, it's a very common area to work in. So, as an entertainer as well too, there's no
there's
401k,
no kid.
and there's no nothing for us.
No,
There's no retirement. And it sucks because there's a lot of people like that here in the state of Florida that don't have anything like that because they've decided that they wanted to work in the tourism industry and they've
right,
worked for some places that don't offer these things. So it's like there's going to be a huge overload of people coming in soon that don't have a safety net for their future, and
right.
we're going to need to do stuff for these people.
Oh, we do. We definitely. But they don't. It's kind of like I always say, follow the money. Follow really is follow the money,
Yep.
and it's all out there for public consumption. Look, who is funding Ron DeSantis' campaign?
Yep.
Who is funding Wilton Simpson's campaign?
Big casino, big ag.
Who is funding Ashley Moody's
Sugar.
campaign? And then look, if you look at my campaign. I mean, you'll see who they're serving. They're serving their donors who don't care. Their utility rate, they can afford their utility rates. They can afford their insurance rates. But I mean, that's the root of it. And I think that until Floridians really understand that what is happening, and I think I've tried to figure this out for a while. So why do these folks vote? Why do so many people in Florida and across the country really vote against their own interest? Why do they vote against their own economic interest? Because they are, first of all, I think there's a lot of propaganda out there, Fox News and news cycles that lie, but also the Republican Party has methodically and strategically tried to pit people against one another based on race, class, sexual orientation, religion, and because they know that can work and that can get certain members of their base out to vote. So they come up with these theories, these fake theories about teachers grooming your children. Of course, nobody wants their teacher, but that's not happening.
No, it's
critical race theory. There is no such thing in schools.
And no, well, if your kid is learning critical race theory, congratulations, he's in law school, and
I don't even remember if I took it. I don't think I had it in law school. I mean, but the problem is the Democrat. This is my position on this. The Democrats take the bait, and we take that bait, and we'll just argue all day long. There's no critical race theory. But rather than talking about these pocketbook issues about corporate, malfeasance, corruption. So we'll sit here and spend all our time trying to convince some racist in somewhere that there's no critical race theory. I mean, we're not going to get that person's vote. I mean,
but you do realize this is the Wizard of Oz effect that they do. This is a whole. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, but here, pay attention to this big old grandiose thing, and it's really not.
But people, what the Democrat
people get stuck into it.
We do, and we can't do that anymore. We can't.
Nope.
Of course, we have to fight for our beliefs.
Correct. But we can't let us get steered off course, because that's what they're trying to do. Because we're trying to show people the corruption and show people that this is what these guys are doing to you. But then they'll throw something like Clarence Thomas and all this thing. I swear the leak was done by him to take pressure off him and his wife for the January 6th.
Well, I mean, I think the problem is that we live in such a distracted world. Yes. We live in a distracted world where people are on their, there's so much. When I was a kid, we didn't have computers. We didn't have cell phones.
We had to go to the library.
Play in the neighborhood. I remember as a kid, I'd go with my dad and we'd go get all the newspapers and we'd read the newspaper. And there was no more news the rest of the day. I mean, 6 o'clock news, we didn't get news and information fed to us all the time. And so we're distracted. And but we need to, the only way the Democrats, in my opinion, are going to strategically and methodically and successfully take back leadership is by keeping our message clear. Bill Clinton says the economy's stupid. Yeah, the leadership in Florida has been running this state. It's the most unaffordable state in the country. Our education is at the bottom. Sure. And they've been running the state for 25 years.
But then they blame us somehow or another. Oh, it's the Democrats.
Because we let them blame us. We let them blame us.
And it's sad. It really is.
It is sad. And so because Democrats, we won on these, the minimum wage being raised, marijuana being legalized, affordable care, all these issues, reproductive rights, are overwhelming of Floridians agree with Democrats on these issues. But for some reason, so we have to have the right message and we have to have the right candidates. Otherwise, this is just going to continue.
Yeah, and we got to get rid of the grifters and make sure that we get these grifters out of office too, because this is just ridiculous to have these people basically just stealing from the system. And I really, really, really want to make sure that we do everything we possibly can to put laws in place to stop this as soon as we can, because this is just going to get worse if we don't do something about it. So I know my people usually have questions. So I know one question that I'm going to ask for you is basically, what are your thoughts on marijuana and how we're moving forward in this state with marijuana?
I think marijuana should be legalized. I mean, I think it's, with age restrict, up to the correct age.
Yeah, I mean the 21 and over thing is a no-brainer for us. That's just that for us. It's just like you got to look at it like beer and all this stuff. And personally, I look at it better than beer or alcohol because it's actually much better and healthier for you. So
once it's legalized, it can be regulated. Right now, it's unregulated, right?
Correct. And I mean,
it can be taxed, and it can be it can be things. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, I mean, it's just time for that to happen. I think
it is. Look, I've run the numbers. If we do it properly here in the state of Florida, it's about a $4 billion a year revenue stream for the state of Florida.
But I would say this also, that we need a lot of that money needs to be used for drug treatment, because people we got opioids, we got fentanyl, we got a lot. My practice. I'm in practice a long time, and I see a lot. People mental health issues, drug abuse issues, those are very common. And
so just to go a little further than that, so good news is that they actually have now discovered that things like mushrooms and ketamine actually work really well to stop people with opioid addictions or any of these sort of addictions. So we're finding ways to use nature to actually stop these addictions that the big pharma has put on our people. So I'm looking forward as well to be able to, get that implemented.
The drug industry, there's a lot of drugs out there that the pharmacies make money by you continuing to use them for the rest of your entire life, and a lot of times they just become either the side effects are worse than the what it's supposed to fix, or you just become it just doesn't do anything. So I think that needs to be looked at. I mean, are these drugs that people take for their whole lives, are they really doing anything to help, or are there other alternatives that have not been explored, like you said, like mushroom, those types of things that are natural, right? Natural. We are basically, we're basically made up of blood and water. I mean, our bodies are made of, and so the natural, cure is usually we should try to steer towards that more than the pharmacological cure that has monetary type benefits to it.
Well, as an indigenous person, to me, nature is always the way to go for healing. And my mom taught me that, and my mom was a nurse. My mom's worked in the medical field until her retirement recently after getting COVID. But my mom really was an influence on me on that. Is always look at nature first for the solution versus going somewhere else. And I take that, close to my heart, because that's basically the way I'm looking at the position for the ag commissioner. There's no reason why we need to continue to pollute in order to clean up the mess. We need to just start focusing on cleaning things, but we could do it with nature as well. Hemp, mushrooms, bamboo, great bioremediation products.
But you're going to have, but in all those situations, you're going to be bumping against big companies that do not want there to be a natural solution, because that cuts into their profit.
Of course, which is sad, because they could actually turn around and work with the stuff and maybe even use it and figure out a way to profit off of it that way, since they are the
Florida has, we have a huge senior population we've got who are, who need, care, and we have, but I think that there needs to be a full analysis of where have we gotten with, because one of my mentors of Lawton Childs, he was governor of Florida, and he retired from the U.S. Senate in the 90s, and he came out and said one of the reasons was he had depression, which nobody really said that, and he was taking medication. I mean, there's a lot of medication, and I'm not a doctor, clearly I'm just a lawyer, but I try to look at issues, and I mean, there are we need to look at how this decade-long reliance upon pharmacological remedies that have basically become part of our DNA, and it passed down when you have children. Is it really, how effective is it? Because I don't see where the mental health of our state is getting much better. But we are certainly, people are taking a lot more pills, and they have for a long time. So if people have been taking pills for a long time, why is our mental health not necessarily getting better? So
no, and it just seems like people, they're zombies walking around.
Yeah,
and I hate that. These things, and that's the whole thing, like with these natural medications, you're not turning people into zombies or anything. You're giving them their life back.
Well, I'm open to all that. I think that
well, I know they're making moves now for, like, MDMA looks like it's going to be the first one that's going to go. And then the next one will be mushrooms, and after that, I believe is ketamine. Those are the ones.
I went to Stanford in California, and California I know is kind of leading a lot of this. And I've heard the effects of some of those natural substances are effective. I mean, if they're effective, why don't we use them? Why don't we encourage them to use? Clearly they need to be vetted and tested, but
and they're doing that. A lot of that's already been done, and it's
there's a book I read a few years ago, and I forgot the name of it. Talked about all these options.
Actually, there's actually a show on Netflix right now, How to Change Your Mind. It's a whole series.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Really,
that was good.
Really good.
I mean, we shouldn't be so reliant upon chemicals.
No.
I mean, because
it's so bad for us. I mean, at the end of
it
the
really
day,
is. Yeah, I mean, I'm eating this yogurt now, which is supposed to be good, but if I really look at it, how much,
you
I
can't
mean,
even pronounce half the stuff on it, and it
yeah, I
sucks.
mean, I got my water. I take, but
So hold on.
yeah,
I
yeah, I
it looks
think that we
like we
need.
got a little question here too. So I'll
Oh
answer that
yeah,
in a moment, Krista. But or wait, hold on. It's a nag question. So what are we doing to support American farmers and end or rapidly slow down in importing fresh produce that's currently in season here while our farmers are going out of business? So, Krista, that's one of the big things I do talk about, and it's basically making sure that all our farmers' goods are taken off the field and put into our markets or actual restaurants first before anything else gets brought in. I know some of that is at a federal level, but my main goal is to basically make sure that Florida comes first before anything else, that we're focusing on just Florida products. And at the same time, I'm looking to see how I could export more Florida products. So that way the fresh from Florida seal means something worldwide. I'm a big marketing person. So for me, that's going to be an easy task and I'm going to have fun with it too. So we want to make sure that we start cutting off some of the slave labor farms that are bringing us these cheap products. I know people are used to it because they want stuff be in season at all times, basically, and that's the reason why they import some of this stuff. But at the end of the day, if we could grow it here and we have it here ready to go, that should be the first set of goods that get sold, not something from that's being exported. So thank you for that question, Krista. And Daniel, I know you don't have to deal with the farm stuff, so but you get to deal with some of the other good stuff, all the attorneys, all that. So
yeah.
how do we
The
deal with
Florida
the
Attorney General's on the
state law?
cabinet, and there's a lot of environmental issues that come before the cabinet. You're on the clemency board. You're on a lot. You have the administration in terms of how our money is invest. The retirement. The Attorney General is third in line to run the state. So it's not just Attorney General. You're also on the cabinet. You're on the board that deals the state board administration that deals with retirement, where investments are. I certainly would have not kept money in Russia like they decided to. So yeah, I mean, as a business, yeah, I think those things, my business background, are going to have help in those situations to really look. I mean, I'm going to look at things as how does this help Florida? Like how the decisions I make as Attorney General, clearly, how is it going to affect that day? But how is it going to affect like 20 years down the road?
Yeah.
Like, what is? I mean, my grandfather, Willie Uhlfelder, I never met him. I was named for him. He escaped Nazi Germany. His parents were killed in concentration camp afterward, and he was so lucky. I mean, he chose to come to Florida. He got here in the. We met my grandmother in Tallahassee, so he ended up in West Palm Beach, late 30s, early 40s, and so my family's been here, a long time, and I'm not going anywhere, and I want my kids to live here and raise
Yeah.
a family here. And
No, we want to make Florida better for everybody, and
yes,
that's what
it's
I've
a
always
great state. My grandfather chose. He came from Germany to escape persecution. Went to Ellis Island. Went to Atlanta. Went to Tallahassee. Met my grandmother, and then he settled in West Palm Beach and became the first Jewish West Palm Beach City Commissioner. He raised my parents down there. I was just there a couple of days ago with my cousins and my uncle, and and I went to the Republican Attorney General's conference. I don't know if you saw that visit I had.
Yeah.
But we have to be bold.
We do.
We can't be weak. We have to be bold, or we lose.
Yep.
And I'm not doing this to lose. I mean, I'm doing this to win. In politics, you either win or you lose.
Yep. No,
and I'm the only candidate in this race that can beat Ashley Moody. And so that's why I need your vote and your support.
Got it. Oh, thank you, Krista. That makes sense. But yes, we all need your support. Don't forget to donate to Daniel's campaign and my campaign. You can go to our websites. Mine is moralesforflorida.com. Daniel's is danielforag.com. I know it's getting close to 10 o'clock and we probably have some crazy schedules today. I know I'm heading to Fort Lauderdale today for the LGBTQ.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm going.
I'm actually DJing for them today, so it'll be fun. I get to do my fun stuff.
That's fun. Yeah, well, have fun. I'm going to Madison County. I don't know, and then I'm going to we're having the
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been all over the place this whole week. So
I don't know where I wake up now. I'm like, I don't know where I am. I'm like, what day is it? What day is it? Like, because just like a week ago, we were both in Tampa together. Like, right?
Yep.
And like now, it's kind of weird. It's kind of not what I'm used to, but
But meanwhile, I'm like, I know you're doing something right when you start getting the death threats and all that. That's the other thing I had this week. That was hilarious. And it's from the other, and not from the GOP side too. So funny enough.
A mentor of mine said, I called. He passed away. He was one of a great lawyer, and when I was getting harassed by Mike Huckabee, he tried to get. I called him. I said, his name was Sandy Dallenberg. He was president of the American Bar. So I said, Sandy, I said, why? I got Mike Huckabee coming after me, Matt Gaetz, Ron DeSantis. He says, Daniel, you are measured by who your enemies are. So if those are your enemies, then you're doing all right.
That's awesome. Well, Daniel, want to give your last 2 minutes and let everybody know what's up?
But 2 more. Okay. Well, yes, this is a consequential election here we have in Florida. Florida is the 3rd largest state in the country. We have a lot of things that happen in Florida are kind of a test for what they want to do elsewhere. Like Governor DeSantis has tried to, restrictions, these attacks on our teachers and the LGBTQ community, the attacks on COVID restrictions. So I don't know how many of your listeners are in Florida, but if you're not in Florida, you need to be paying attention to what's happening in Florida, because we've got a governor who wants to be president, and we've got actually a former president who lives in Florida who's seeking safe haven here. But we need an attorney general that will go after this corruption, whether it's Florida Power and Light, your homeowner's insurance, real estate developers who are jacking up your rents, people that are stealing our women and girls' basic reproductive rights.
Yep.
I have built a campaign with thousands of supporters. I've qualified for matching funds. I'm going to build a war chest to get Ashley Moody out of office so she and Ron DeSantis can go work on Fox News. I mean, that's probably where they belong.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We need them out of politics. We can't have them be in leadership. It's just terrible that we have people like this running the show and then making us look bad because they blame everything on us for some reason. And meanwhile, we're like, we haven't been in control in over 20 something years here. Right. We've not been able to make a move because you guys have gerrymandered the crap out of us. So I really hope the people of Florida stand up this election. We need to make things happen. We need to win. We need to actually get these people out of office, and we need to do what's right for the people of Florida. I know that's what I'm trying to do. My name's Ryan Morales. I'm running to be the next Commissioner of Agriculture, and I want to make sure that we bring Florida into the future, not into 1950, but into 2050. Because this is just ridiculous. My children are, their lives are in danger, basically, if we don't do what we got to do. And this is basically us doing what we need to do for our children and everybody else's children. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We're going to pass this around and let all the Democrats know how awesome we all are. And how
August 20th, people voting now by mail, vote early. My name is Daniel Uhlfelder. You don't have to spell it. You don't have to pronounce it right. You just have to find it on the ballot. It's the 3rd one. And Daniel Uhlfelder for Attorney General. I really would hope you consider supporting me and learning more about me when you make your decision. Thank you.
Yep, definitely. I know for me as well, the same thing. Ryan Morales. I'm the 3rd guy on that selection box. So please make sure you vote for me. We want to make sure that we send the right person to Tallahassee and not any more people who are just going to continue to hurt the people of Florida. So I look forward to helping everybody and serving and doing the right thing and basically cleaning up this place. So thank you, Daniel. Awesome morning with you.
Yeah,
really, probably the longest chat we've had. So I thank you for
that.
I'm like, there's plenty more that we could chat about. And
we could talk a long time, but
But we got things to do. So I thank you. And I look forward to chatting with you again further down this thing. Hopefully we get past the this primary and do what we got to do to help the people of Florida. So thank you again, Daniel, and cheers. Good night.
All right.
Bless. Enjoy your day, brother.
Okay. Thank you.
Bam.